May 4th, 2026. The United Arab Emirates, a nation synonymous with gleaming skyscrapers, luxury tourism, and global commerce, woke up to the sound of air raid sirens. For the first time since a fragile ceasefire between Iran and the United States had quieted the guns of war on April 8th, the UAE found itself once again under direct military. This was not a distant conflict rippling through trade routes or financial markets. This was fire raining down from the sky. In the eastern emirate of Fujairah, a strategic coastal region on the Gulf of Oman, a drone, launched from Iranian territory, cut through the morning air and found its target. A major oil refinery inside the Fujairah Petroleum Industries Zone. The facility erupted in flames. 3 Indian nationals working at the site sustained injuries. The fire burned visibly for hours, sending thick black smoke into the sky above a coastline already choked with tension. But this was only the beginning. Over the course of that single day, the UAE's Ministry of Defense reported that its air defense systems had engaged 12 ballistic missiles, 3 cruise missiles, and 4 drones, all fired from Iranian soil. Missile alert notifications were sent to residents across the country. Commercial aircraft descending into Dubai and Abu Dhabi, among the busiest aviation hubs on Earth, abruptly turned around mid-flight. Passengers inside those planes watched the glittering coastline disappear beneath them, replaced by uncertainty. The world was watching, and in Washington, Tel Aviv, London, and Tehran, war rooms were buzzing. To understand what happened on May 4th, you have to go back to February 28, 2026, the day the United States and Israel launched a coordinated military offensive against Iran. In a strike that shocked even the most seasoned geopolitical analysts, American and Israeli forces targeted Iranian nuclear facilities, military command structures, and strategic infrastructure across the country. It was, by any definition, an act of war. Iran's response was swift, calculated, and economically devastating. Within hours, Tehran announced the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, the narrow waterway between Iran and Oman through which approximately 20% of the world's oil supply passes every single day. This was Iran's most powerful non-nuclear weapon, control over the arteries of global energy. The effects were immediate and catastrophic for the global economy. Oil prices spiked to levels not seen since the energy crisis of the 1970s. European nations that depend heavily on Persian Gulf exports scrambled to find alternative suppliers. Asian economies, South Korea, Japan, India, China, faced fuel shortages and surging inflation. Hundreds of commercial ships became stranded in the Persian Gulf, their crews trapped aboard vessels that could not safely pass through a war zone. For weeks, the fighting raged. Then, on April 8, 2026, after intensive diplomatic efforts led by back-channel negotiations, a ceasefire was announced. It was fragile. Both sides agreed only to pause hostilities, not to resolve the underlying disputes. Iran's Strait of Hormuz remained closed. The stranded ships remained stranded. The economic damage continued to mount. This ceasefire lasted less than a month before the violence resumed, and when it did, the UAE found itself directly in the crossfire. The Emirate of Fujairah is not the first place most people think of when they think of the UAE. Dubai gets the tourists. Abu Dhabi gets the diplomats. But Fujairah holds one of the country's most critical strategic assets, its only coastline that does not face the Persian Gulf. Sitting on the Gulf of Oman, Fujairah is the terminus of the Habshan-Fujairah pipeline, a major oil export corridor that allows the UAE to ship petroleum entirely bypassing the Strait of Hormuz. When Iran closed the strait, Fujairah became not just important, but absolutely vital to UAE energy exports and regional oil distribution. The port and its associated petroleum industry zone became a lifeline for regional oil trading, a hub for fuel bunkering, and a critical link in the global energy supply chain. Iran knew exactly what it was targeting. By striking the Fujairah oil facility, Tehran sent a clear and unmistakable message: no energy infrastructure in the region is beyond our reach, not even the assets of a neutral party, not even a nation that has tried, carefully and diplomatically, to stay out of the conflict. The attack on Fujairah was not random. It was a statement. The UAE Foreign Ministry condemned what it called the renewed terrorist, unprovoked Iranian attacks, targeting civilian sites and facilities. In language rarely used by Emirati officials, a government known for measured diplomatic communications, the statement warned that the UAE reserves the full and legitimate right to respond. These were not empty words. They were the words of a country that had just watched its soil burn. The Middle East was not becoming more stable, and the world, whether it was paying attention or not, was going to feel the consequences. This is the story of how a drone struck an oil refinery in Fujairah and why the world held its breath.